want to go out to that news conference very soon. We do know that law enforcement is on the scene right now, getting ready to update us and give us any updates and also answer questions. As you can see, this is a live look out at the news conference, and so we are going to listen in right now.
Everybody good? Okay. Yeah, we're ready. All right. Thank you for your patience. I apologize that we had to push this media briefing back. Take your time. This has been a very fluid situation this morning. My name is Rachel Haslett. That's RACHELHASLETT. I'm the Public Information Officer with the Broomfield Police Department. So a little bit about what happened this morning. About 6:34 this morning, officers were called to the Arista Flats Apartments. That's what you can see behind us in the distance, surrounded by that crime scene tape, for a disturbance. When they got to one of the units inside the apartment, they heard a male making threats, and shortly thereafter they heard gunshots. It became very, very, very unsafe for those officers within minutes, as he was shooting not only at surrounding units, but also into the parking lot. That is why we called it an active shooter situation, as there were a lot of people that were in danger. An emergency reverse notification in Broomfield. We have a lookout alert system that was immediately sent out to residents and people in the surrounding area, asking them to shelter in place. You do have to sign up for that, so we did get some questions from residents. I'll make sure I put that out on our social media later today, because it was such a dangerous situation and because he was firing rounds at surrounding units and into the parking lot. SWAT responded along with crisis negotiations. We had response from other surrounding law enforcement agencies, including the Boulder County Sheriff, Westminster, Douglas County, and North Metro Fire. We staged medical and then just basically worked on communicating with this gentleman. It was a male suspect in the apartment, and working to get inside. We did not know how many people were inside the apartment with him. We knew at least one person from what we were hearing, but we did not know how many other potential hostages there may be. The good news is we were able to take that suspect into custody about 30 minutes ago. Officers were able to breach that apartment door. They were able to make forced entry and take that suspect into custody. I can confirm he and one female victim have been taken to a local hospital. I do not know the extent of their injuries at this time, so waiting for updates on that. But we do have one person in custody, and we had one other person, a female, inside that apartment. She is the victim. She was the hostage in this situation.
What was the extent of her injuries?
I do not have any idea on what her injuries are at this time.
Do you know when the suspect was firing, if there were bullets that hit any other buildings or vehicles?
Yes, he did fire, and it did hit vehicles, other buildings, and other units. So this is going to be an active crime scene for a while, because we have to process where those gunshots went, look for any of those shell casings, determine everything that may have happened, how many shots he fired. So it's going to be an active crime scene, and it's going to be closed for a while.
What were the nature of his threats, and was he threatening to shoot and kill the woman he had?
I don't know the nature of the threats. I do know, though, he was threatening to hurt people. So that's about all I can confirm right now.
Do you have a name or age of the suspect?
I don't. I do not have an age or a name of the suspect at this time.
You said it was about unfolded at?
I do not. Just the Arista Flats Apartments. Right here in orange.
It was about 30 minutes ago that you took him into custody. Roughly around that many minutes ago, we heard a big bang and then a whole bunch of other bangs. I guess, is that forced entry, and did officers fire their weapons at all?
Correct. That was forced entry, and one Broomfield police officer fired his weapon. I don't. We do not know. He was giving us a lot of different details about what he was possibly armed with, but I don't have that information.
Do we know the relation between those two people, the suspect and the victim?
I do not. I do not know the relationship between them.
Have your people been to this unit or this apartment building before, at this particular apartment, for any other threats or disturbances of this kind?
Right. Obviously, there's a lot of people that live in these apartments. In terms of a possible history that we have with this individual, I don't have all the details on that yet.
Can you know what happened else with nearby with the suspect?
Sure.
Who all was talking not long ago?
Yeah, so we were called out here at 6:34, and as you can imagine, what time is it now? 10:34, so it's been almost 4 hours. We start negotiating with the suspect, in this case, within 30 minutes. I mean, we were there communicating with him.
Can you tell us what the
Just one sec. I'm going to say that again. Obviously, it's been 4 hours. It was about 3.5 hours that we were in communication one way or the other with the suspect. So crisis negotiations, SWAT, surrounding law enforcement agencies, just trying to figure out, of course, the best way to resolve this as safely as possible.
So,
You're okay.
Quite a few of us remarked that we had not seen that device, if you will, like a front end loader with the shield brought up to the apartment and used by your people. Do you have any description, any knowledge of that and
Sure.
its purpose and how it was used in this case?
Sure. So I know that we had our Bearcat on scene, which is our SWAT vehicle. I am not well versed, I have to admit, on all of the other surrounding law enforcement agencies, different vehicles, but I can find that out for you.
Do we know if anyone else in nearby units is injured or lost?
At this time, we do not have any reports of any other people being injured in any of the other nearby units. So we did put that reverse notification out, and we did do limited evacuations as safely as we could. Of course, we have to keep in mind the safety of officers and the safety of the residents, so trying to get out those who need to be evacuated and then telling others to shelter in place. We also put one school on secure, Jefferson Academy. It is not in the neighborhood, but it is close by. We did that out of an abundance of caution. That's very normal. Nobody was coming or going for probably about 2 hours.
And why were they taken to the hospital?
They were injured. So I'm
Were
not
they
going to
shot?
comment on the injuries at this time.
But you don't know if they were injured by shrapnel or glass?
I do not. I'm not in a place that I can talk about those injuries right
And
now.
What about the seriousness of the injuries?
I don't know that either.
You've been listening to Rachel Hazlitt with the Broomfield Police Department giving us an update on what exactly happened today. So to give you a recap and what Rachel Hazlitt said, at 6:34, officers responded to the Arista Flats apartment complex in Broomfield due to a disturbance. When they arrived shortly after, they heard a male suspect, make threats, and then also shortly after that started shooting randomly, shooting at units, at apartment buildings, and in the parking lot. So they had to secure that area very quickly because of that. They were in communication with the suspect 30 minutes after they arrived at the scene. This whole thing lasted for about 4 hours. So they were in communication with this person for at least 3.5 hours.
We saw the SWAT team move in to try to capture this suspect. They took one person, they breached, they do a forced entry. They caught one person and also one female victim. Both of them were taken to a local hospital for their injuries. We do not know the extent of their injuries. We did hear from that press conference as well that the female in this situation was considered a hostage in terms of what happened here. Again, this happened around 6:34 this morning. We also heard that the suspect also fired at other units, other vehicles. So this crime scene is going to be active for at least the next several hours here at the Arista Flats apartment complex in Broomfield right now. If you want to hear more about what's happening at this situation, you can always log on to our website or go on our app at cbscolorado.com. In the meantime, we'll continue on with the Price is Right happening as we speak here on CBS.
Right now, before the Price is Right, we are actually going to go back out to that news conference and listen to Broomfield Police.
Not that I'm aware of, but I have not also looked into the history of his unit and this unit overall. So I can't say for sure or not at this time.
Can you give a rough age of the suspect?
I do not have that.
You mentioned that like a reverse notification was sent out and that some people might not have gotten it because you didn't have to sign up. Is there a better way to, if you said it was a serious and an active situation where people were just wandering around, maybe pulling up in their cars in that parking lot that was being fired at, is there a way to better get that information out there? Or
So the question was about the reverse notification system. In Broomfield, we use a system that's called Lookout Alert. You can find it at broomfield.org. That's the city's website. And the best thing to do is just take a few minutes to go on that website and register your cell phone number. Also put in a perimeter of where you live or may you work, or where you may work, excuse me. Why? Because if you were out for a jog this morning, walking your dog, as we know it was early, a lot of people do jog, walk their dogs, or leaving for work or school, then you would get that notification because you're within that perimeter. It only takes a few minutes. You can add multiple cell phones, you can add email, and then you will get that text message letting you know when there is an emergency where you live or where you work.
And you said you don't know the relationship between the male and the female.
I do not. I do not.
So he was just taken into custody about half an hour ago. Was that because the negotiations failed? Was the entry part of the negotiations?
So we made a forced entry officers did. At least one officer fired his weapon, so there was an exchange of gunfire at that point. I don't know the extent between the suspect and the officers. I just know at least one officer did fire his weapon, and then we were able to take him into custody. So
Is it fair to say negotiations?
I can't say because I wasn't part of the negotiations. I don't know, what the mental state was of our suspect at this point. So I can't really speculate on that.
Was that a Broomfield police officer in tactical gear that went in the apartment?
It was a Broomfield police officer. I do not know if he was in tactical gear.
Would this be a domestic violence situation? We're talking about culprit, man.
Yes, 2 adults, 1 female, 1 male.
Do we know if the woman was hit by officer fire or from a previous shooting? Is there any details on that?
I don't have any information on that.
And do you know what kind of weapon the officer used? Was it a handgun or a rifle of some kind?
I don't have any information on that.
And they would have been wearing a body camera, right?
Yes,
to
correct.
record that interaction.
Correct. All of our Broomfield officers wear body-worn cameras, and if they have their weapons drawn, then that automatically initiates the body cams to begin recording.
Would this be a domestic violence situation?
That is something that we'll need to look into. I don't have the details due to their relationship. Anything else that anybody can think of? If nothing further, this will be the only press briefing today, but I will continue to put out updates via our social media, Facebook and Twitter or X. Also, we'll put out a press release later today once I get some more comprehensive information. I'll share those on our social media as well as on our website, broomfield.org/police. And if you guys don't have anything further, I think that's it. Okay.
When you file arrest charges or when you file some sort of charges against him, do we need to bombard you with questions? Are you going to put that on X? And when you
We'll
get a
put
name?
all that, yes. Once we get the suspect's name, any information on age, any charges, anything like that, I will make sure that we put that out.
And would you guys consider releasing any body cam footage sooner than later? Or because sometimes the police department will release a little bit
Right.
beforehand. Is that something you would consider releasing?
Yeah, that's actually a question that I can't answer because it will determine on the investigation and what command and the investigative team decides is best for the department. So it's always worth asking, but I'll tell you, we typically don't release it when it's an ongoing investigation. Okay, thank you guys.
Again, we've been listening to Rachel Hazlitt with the Broomfield Police Department in this news conference, asking or answering a lot of questions from reporters out there. To give you a recap of what has happened, officers were called out to the Arista Flats apartment complex in Broomfield at 6:34 this morning due to a disturbance. Shortly after they got to the scene, there was a male threatening a woman inside one of the units and then also started shooting at units, shooting at other apartments and shooting into the parking lot. So they had to adjust and really secure that scene to keep everyone in that area safe. They started negotiating with that suspect, who is a male suspect, about 30 minutes after they arrived at the scene. All of this lasted about 4 hours. So they were in communication with that person before they went into that apartment.
As you mentioned, he did fire at other apartment units, other vehicles as well. So in terms of moving forward right now, this scene is going to remain active for at least a few hours because they have to process all those bullet casings, mark everything, make sure that they complete their investigation. Now, a lot of questions still remain, though. We do not know the relationship between this known suspect or the female hostage, as they described her in this situation. We're working to learn that information. We're also working to learn how many shots were fired, but it was enough for them to call in several police, law enforcement agencies to come in. We saw Broomfield Police, SWAT, other agencies from Douglas County, even as far as that coming in as well to the scene. But they made contact with this person at least 30 minutes going into it in the first place. Once they breached in, one Broomfield officer did fire his weapon, thus ending that scene. Again, the suspect and this female victim were taken to a hospital nearby.
They were taken to a hospital. Their injuries are unknown right now, but they do say that the suspect is in custody. So we want to get over to Justin Adams, who is in Broomfield. You've been on the scene for quite some time this morning. Justin?
Well, just about an hour ago, this whole area right here was actually with a whole lot of different police cars as well as ambulance trucks as well. But ever since then, things have really calmed down. About an hour ago is when we heard that loud bang, which was followed by several rounds of gunshots. And then from there, we literally saw an individual being taken on a stretcher and then taken right by where we are right now. Right where we're standing is where the ambulance was taken. It went off in this direction, which would be to my left, and on your screen would be to the right as well. But But I had a chance to speak to another individual. This person right here just talked about how literally this morning that they were just coming back from the gym. They live in this apartment complex. They were driving up when they heard gunshots, and that's when they had to make a U-turn and be able to go and leave the scene from there. And I also spoke to another individual who actually was walking her dog, and then she heard some gunshots. Listen to this.
Took the dog out as usual just before 8 o'clock out of my patio, and as soon as I put her down on the grass, I heard pa 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 pa, and there was a kid walking to the school bus, and there's a rock over there in the park, and as soon as we heard those shots, he jumped behind the rock and he told me to get in. And so I grabbed the dog and ran back inside, and I heard all these cops coming, and I heard more shots being fired, and just really scared because I knew that it was gunshots at that point.
With the information that we know now, we know that's one of the main reasons why police came and told her to go inside, because these shots were literally everywhere. And that's one of the reasons why they said, hey, go and get to safety, go and get inside as quick as possible. One other thing that you do see is there's police tape around the park area. And originally I was wondering why you would have police tape around the park. When you hear about there was gunshots in different areas, that's one of the reasons why. Also, all the way extended to the apartment complex, there is police tape too. So we'll keep an eye on this situation. Obviously, this is still an active situation right now, but we'll keep you up to date right here on CBS Colorado, guys. Back to you.
All right, Justin, thank you so much. And again, we don't know much about the suspect. We don't know the relationship between the suspect and the victim. We want to get over to Joel Hillen at the desk. We know you've been gathering a lot of information as this has been happening, and you've been covering it since the very beginning.
Yeah, it's been a long morning for us, in a very tense morning, obviously, as we, really our purpose and our hope is to make sure that the community stays safe, that we can convey information to keep folks safe and get some eyes on the ground, get some eyes in the air to help make that happen. And we were able to do that this morning. We launched Copter as soon as we heard in Rocky Mountain Airport's just adjacent to that. This came just before 8 o'clock this morning, and they had landed for the morning and were fueled and ready to go, and they were able to get us the first look. And then Jeff Todd, the first reporter out on the scene, as we started to get some pictures then from photojournalist Eddie Castro and photojournalist Dale Atchison, both able to quickly maneuver out to the scene along with Justin Adams. And we were being updated from Broomfield Police via social media mainly, and they were very clear about the active shooting that was happening at the Arista Flats. As you continue through here, you can just see how much police have been updating information as the time went on. And then this about halfway through, about an hour into this, the situation has not been resolved. Continue to shelter in place. And those were the messages that we were trying to convey until about a half hour ago. You can see 33 minutes ago, we learned that the suspect was in custody and the scene is secure. One of the things that we look out for as we're, listening to information from police, especially from the desk, is we want to get some names and also see if maybe there is a history to get a better profile of who the suspect is and perhaps the victim in this case. And they haven't been able to share that yet, but police did say that they are going to be working actively to get that information for us. So we'll be continuing to watch that as well. Now this will move from the active police situation into the justice system. And there will be charges that will be associated with this, and there will be a court case, and that we have already started a file here at the desk in our what's called Wolf Tech, that we will continue to collate that information, gather that information, and follow this, because justice is an important part of keeping the community safe. Brian and Michelle.
And we're sure you'll be gathering that information throughout the day as we get it. One thing I do want to note, Joel, is Broomfield Police, they were talking about those emergency notifications.
Right.
They talked about it in the news conference because they said some people didn't get them, some people did get them, and it is important for many people to sign up for those alerts.
Yeah, and she sent out the link earlier and put it on social media, and of course Jennifer, who's part of our web team, is here and immediately put that on our website at CBS Colorado. But that link, we learned, was broken, and you could tell in the press conference that she was acknowledging that and saying we're going to send that out again on social media as we get to the afternoon. But not for just folks in Broomfield, Brian and Michelle, but anywhere you're at, if you have emergency notifications, you should be signing up so that police can get in contact with you to keep your family safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Just in case you're joining us again, the situation is pretty much resolved. Thank you, Joel, by the way. The suspect here is in custody. The female victim also taken to the hospital as well. A couple of takeaways really quickly before we talk to Brian here. Number one, as you mentioned, people should sign up for that reverse 911 call. So very important. The other thing here, and this is going to be part of the investigative process, is when they release the body camera footage from Broomfield police. It'll be very interesting to see what comes of that as well. But of course, that will come over the next few days as this investigation continues.